Hello, welcome to episode 6 of Half Sick of Shadows, our one-to-one romantic fantasy anthology play series. We are still in Unrestful Hearts in the Garden of Glory. Last week, lots of things happened. Torlane and Jordan Vespucci exited the tunnels in the Holloway Mountains to find just lots of bad things had happened as winter started to. So House Holloway was snowed out. House Lane, or the lands of House Lane, started to become overrun with the Children of the Calamity. And Jordan Vespucci revealed that he was there to try, at the behest of council member Blanche Mercier, to get to have Tora come be a knight in the capital. Tora has mixed feelings about this, and decided that she needed to go talk to her family about it. So she brought Jordan to, well, Jordan wouldn't leave her, to her home, where she spoke to her father Edvard, or not her father, her uncle Edvard. And it was revealed that Vespucci had been spying on House Lane. They wanted to capture Jordan. I forget his name every single time. I'm so sorry, Grant. They wanted to capture Jordan and kind of hold him, like make him either stand trial or hold him as some sort of collateral against House Vespucci. Jordan ran away. Tora ran after him, but managed to lose him. And right before the episode ended, King Holloway woke up. It was revealed that his doctor had been blackmailed into keeping him ill by the rest of the council, and that I guess the incriminating evidence was. Did we find out where the memoir was, or did we say?
Oh, it was in his lab. His lab would have been found tossed. Someone else was looking for it or got it.
Yeah. So it was in his lab. So his memoirs have disappeared, but the king seems to be awaking. So that's kind of where we are now. It looks like we are halfway through the struggle of the North. And I think Grant has a new knight to show to us.
Yeah, well, Jordan is traveling around. I will be playing the role of Theodore Lane, who is a laconic, beautiful, poetic knight. A bit of a loner, a riding warden who has been traveling the lands of House Lane. It's important to think about geographically in our game world. House Lane expands the largest territory. It's just there's not very many people that actually live there, and it is full of monsters. So Theodore Lane is essentially a self-sufficient monster hunter who is returning back. I assume they've probably finished serving something like 3 years as an outrider, uh, patrolling, hunting, and is coming back. And they are a knight, so they are a Sir. So this would be Sir Theodore Lane.
Yeah. So I don't remember whose scene it was. I think it was my scene last because I wanted to know about King Holloway. So I believe it is your scene to start off with.
Okay. Um, I think what I want to see next is a question that I would like answered as winter has hit. Is the question is, does Tora journey to capital? Did we decide that? Have we
I
answered
don't
that
think
question?
we did. No, we
So I
just
want to.
knew that she lost Jordan.
So I'd like a scene where Tora makes the decision,
Okay.
unless you can answer that question without playing the scene.
Um, I'm not sure, actually. Um, what are the stakes? Or
The stakes are essentially her relationship with her family, as well as possibly her health, because since most of the paths are impassable for most people, I'm certain a famous legendary knight such as Tora Lane would be able to travel. Um, the stakes are essentially just that. Um,
okay.
and so this is a scene that I feel, um, since Tora is your character, what would be the deciding factor?
Gosh, I don't know. She's I don't know how to kind of play the scene because she's kind of all by herself right now. Like, she was leading the charge to try and capture Jordan, and he went right through a swarm of the children of the calamity.
Did
Um,
did the knights make it? Did her people make it back okay, or does she decide we will
she
not give up the hunt? You know.
she called for a retreat and then went through herself. So she told her people to retreat and then went off on her own.
Okay. Um. So is her intention to what's
This
her
is kind of,
intention? Is
yeah.
she
I
trying to
mean,
find Jordan, or is she going to say, "All right, I'm going to go to capital"? Just
so I think what happens is that because Jordan, we lost, she lost him. I don't know how she did. Um, I forget how, but so I think, and she is cut off from her people because it was a swarm of, you described it as like just this huge like swarm of like hundreds of these monsters. Um, so I think maybe this scene starts like she's found some kind of inn or something where she can um, rest her horse, rest herself, tend to her wounds. And depending, I guess it's up to you as winner of the hunt what lands we're in.
okay. Your lands at this point would be Mercier Hills.
Okay.
So you couldn't get into the Riverlands because the snows made it
Hmm.
impassable. It just wouldn't be safe to cross. But you can travel through the valleys that are somewhat protected. The Merciers are very ingenious and innovative, and they have safer paths to travel. So you would be on Mercier lands.
Okay. Um, yeah, it so she yeah, I guess she sits in a tavern, um and is kind of like asks for uh some water. Probably she's probably covered in gross demon blood. you know she goes into an inn or something, and she says, do your rooms have baths?
I'm gonna roll odds they do, evens they don't.
Okay.
Um, as these modern Merciers. Odds they do. I, with hot water that Elga brings. And they kind of point at this stone faced woman in the corner, the furrowed brow, who nods knowingly. We've engineered a pump to move it up the stairs faster. Water normally follows the gravitational forces. That's a sort of magic. Isn't it right, Elga? She just kind of looks and shrugs. But we bump it.
Tora just kind of like puts some money on the table and says, some bandages too, if you can find them.
Bandages. We've got a doctor in the house. You want a doctor to treat you?
She's covered in like gross, I don't like gross demon blood, essentially. Like ichor. And she says, I don't think most of it is mine.
No, that would be blood of the children of the Calamity. And you hear a familiar voice. It's your cousin Theodore. And Theodore enters the scene. He kind of like, typical Strider Aragorn removes the hood.
Yeah.
He goes, I did not see you come in, but I recognized your voice.
Oh, Theodore. Hello.
You're covered in shit. No, that's not what he says. He's just like, what happened? You looks like you've seen some.
The Vespucci's happened.
Are they marching on the north? What's going on?
Can I talk to you after I've bathed?
Uh certainly. And then he kind of slides your money back to you and just kind of like nods to Elga, and Elga goes, "This one's on the house." That's just your voice, and yeah, they start pumping the hot water upstairs. And he goes,
Yeah.
"Take your time."
So she kind of like cleans herself off, and I don't think her injuries were too severe. I rolled pretty well. So she kind of comes down and sits. I'm sure Theodore is poetically sitting in a dark corner with a hood up over his.
Not at this point. He he's with a group of Lane soldiers, that he had been riding with. He's actually headed north.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they're not really soldiers. They're more like scouts. They're all younger. They're kind of like gawky and dorkish,
Yeah.
But they seem like fascinated by Tora. They're like, oh, wow, a night of your family. There's the Tora Lane. Oh wow, we never met a real knight before, because they don't really consider Theodore a real knight.
Mm-hmm.
He is,
Yeah.
but not to them.
Yeah. Well, we talked about how like House Lane doesn't stand on ceremony as much, because if you fight the monsters, you're just a badass.
Yeah.
And you know, um, So yeah, she'll sit at Theodore, or she'll ask, because Theodore's sitting with people, if she can join them.
Oh, she's they you know open a seat for her, and one of the scouts sort of stands, and he takes to playing an old beat up piano in the corner. They're playing a familiar House Lane melody, which really isn't more of a melody. He's just kind of playing the piano as if it was percussion by not even opening and hitting the keys. And, sorry, just a little joke. Um, yeah, he's playing an old Lane song.
Oh, she kind of smiles. You heading north?
Aye, my time as a warden is at an end, so I'm going to report back to my father, your uncle, and see what new task they have set for me.
So he's then, I guess, Gerald's
Yeah,
kid? Because there's three brothers, right? There's Edvar.
Gerald's probably not old enough.
Oh, yeah.
But your father-ish, maybe oldest, whoever the oldest one was. It was the one that was
Edvard is the oldest, yeah.
Okay, Edvard.
So then Nada. Sorry, yeah. So he's Edvard's kid. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You might want to wait it out. It's there's a swarm on the roads.
They kind of look at each other, and you're like, oh. Pulls out a small map. It's very crudely drawn, but you can tell the line work is actually above average. This is one of his little scouts had put it together, and he goes, "Which road?" And there's 4 different roads. He goes, "Which road did you see the swarm on?"
And she'll point out the one that
Okay.
swarmed.
He goes, Well, we'll take that in account, but we might at least try investigating another path.
It's there were hundreds, some kind of migration or something. I don't know if I've seen this behavior quite to this extent before.
Something strange is on the rise. That's in my final days, there were several large movements of just waves and waves of these spawn of the calamity, and they seem to be moving in not very chaotic patterns, very deliberate, and it almost seemed as if there was a song that was sung among them, despite that being beyond their capabilities. You notice the scouts, they look like shocked when they're talking about this, because they're like, people don't normally talk about these things up in the open. This will frighten people. And like the Merciers at the inn, since this is their lands, look absolutely terrified. They're just like, what? These guys are like monster hunters?
Meanwhile, this is like, like regular dinner table conversation for them. She says, when did this start? I was dead for about a week. I don't know if you heard.
I did not. I haven't heard anything yet. I haven't made it back to the north. I'm traveling from far west. As west as west can go. Where the water meets the land.
And she'll kind of explain what happened at the mountains and with Jordan Vespucci, and that not won't necessarily. I don't think she'll bring up Blanche yet, but she will kind of talk about um, how Jordan came home with her and then ran away.
Mm. He recites a little poem about how most dragons are fierce and scary, but yellow dragons, the color of Jordan, tend to be cowardly and run away. Yeah, yeah, and then he goes, I say that in jest. Jordan has served for many years in the guard of the Vespucci. Is it true what they say about him? Does he have a kind of like makes a little clawed hand? Mm.
He does.
Mm. There are some that say he can even fly should he choose to. Is that true?
It is.
Some of the scouts, that's when they start like popping off like all these little like fake Jordan facts. They say he eats the children of the towns, and they're like, yeah, they're like, and they say he's never known the touch of a woman. And yeah, and like they're just like throwing in, and like these Jordan facts keep like growing, and they start getting like more and more like strange. They're like, yes, he's 10 feet tall, aye, and as white as a house, aye, and you're like, and it's just like the scouts, and like Theodore is just like, this is very entertaining watching them go. Like, shall we sing the song of Jordan? None's been written because he's a coward, and then they all start laughing. They've been drinking.
Yeah, and she says, "Well, right now he's in his nightgown
Pajamas.
with a hat." Like right now he's in a nightgown. So I don't know how fearsome he can be.
Well, he is thought of Jordan Vespucci in a nightgown is certainly a harrowing thought. However, there is much news, and with that, I'm going to begin a tarot reading. It's a card that impacts Vespucci. Because we should have started with one.
Vespucci? No, right. I wrote it down.
It's on the side.
Yeah.
Because alas, if it wasn't written on the side. Acceptance, moving on, forgiveness.
Interesting.
So, between Vespucci and let's see what other house. Also cups.
Vespucci.
So there's going to be some
maybe something to do with Lucretia. She abandoned them, right?
She did. I think they brought in Lucretia back into the fold, and Lucretia has been given a seat at the head of the council, no longer in hiding. And it may be possibly because Edvard let Gerald know that there are spies, none can be trusted here.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you just go to the capital? And I'm sure if you speak to, your father or your sister, you were once positioned to sit on the throne, after all. They would grant you a position as the head of the council, and since Bruce Holloway could die any day now, they'll simply give it to you. No malicious intent, but I believe that's probably how it worked out.
So I guess news hasn't been the news that Bruce Holloway is on the mend.
Very slow traveling.
Yeah, it's slow. Probably on purpose.
It is the winter, too, and to get north is difficult.
And she says, that is news indeed. Uncle Gerald is Uncle Gerald with her in the capital?
No. I heard word that Edvard sent him to reclaim and rebuild the what did we call it? Let me just double check the Shadow Glaive. We have
Yeah.
this the burning of. It was somewhere on here. The burning of Shadow Grove. So,
Yeah.
uh, Gerald was sent to secure the Shadow Grove by Edvard.
Interesting. Um, well, Theodore, I need your advice.
Uh,
Could we
yep.
speak alone?
Yes. He he motions to the door, and there is a tree that's black as the night. The sun setting behind clouds, and all the clouds are illuminated to sort of a heavenly white as the snow gently falls. This black tree has no leaves and collects no snow. He offers to speak with you by the tree, which is a good 15 meters off from the front of the house.
Um, Jordan was sent to me by Blanche Mercier. She
The
wants me at Capital for some reason, or at Talus.
He thinks about this long and hard, and he says she was a strong leader. In fact, she nearly took the throne. Um, and I believe she has she grown much. Now, during the time, how long ago was our King is Dead campaign? Was it
It
like
was a
two
year.
years? Okay, it was a year. Now,
Yeah.
Theodore has been a warden for 3 years alone, so he hasn't had much news at all. However, he would remember Blanche Mercier. I think he kind of thinks back with a fondness. I think he used to date her, or at least
Oh,
tried
okay.
and failed. Yes. So he's like, Blanche Mercier. Why not? Plot twist, right?
Oh
Blanche
my God.
Mercier. But he keeps it a secret. He's always buried those feelings. He's a coward. Maybe. I don't know. He's laconic. He's just like, Blanche Mercier has called for you, and when a Mercier calls for Elaine, and he points back to the inn, Lane answers the call.
Okay. I
However,
don't.
yeah,
Oh.
no, you go ahead.
Just, I don't know what I should do about Jordan, though.
He's a dragon. He'll find a pile of gold to hide on top of, and then stick his head out once he gets bored of it and needs to look for more.
Do you think your father would forgive me for not bringing him home?
Whether he forgives you or not, uh, we were not within our rights to hold him, I believe. Jordan is Dragon Guard, and houses are not to hold Dragon Guard captive. One, it's bad luck, and he starts going into these lane superstitions.
Mm-hmm.
Two, better to barter with the blade than with a prisoner behind bars. If
I
you
was
are
hoping
head,
we could have done it nicely, but you know how your father gets.
well, your heart is better than his, and that is a hard thing for me to say. If you are headed to Talus, could you do me a favor?
Does Tora know about uh Theodore's infatuation with like
I think.
how close
Well,
do
here's
we
what
think
I'll
they
say. I think you know, but it's never been said, and you
are? Okay.
probably know better than anyone.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I imagine if they're of similar age that they were probably pretty close growing up.
Mm-hmm. And he
Um,
has a small like bundle. Um, it's a stack. He's like, if you could deliver these to uh her grace.
mm, your love letters?
He like blushes beyond belief, like the snow's melting beneath his feet. His collar is tugged at, and he swallows hard, and he says, "My heart is written upon these pages.
I
I
hear
ask
she
that you
loves
take
it.
care of it." And then there's like it's a package, and there's like a locket, her locket on top, and I'm gonna spend 3 freaking passion points to
All
have the
right,
locket of Blanche Mercier put on top.
do it.
Yes. I love
Um,
this stupid sad knight already. He's gonna
I
cause all
know.
kinds of problems because he's. I imagine they might have even had a little thing, and she was into him, and then Edvard was like, "You're going to be a warden now for 3 years. March."
um, I hear she loves the king now.
We all love the king. It's why he wears the crown.
Theo, I'm going to do this for you because I love you.
And I know you will do it for me because you love me and I love you. And I love Blanche Mercier. I've loved her from the moment I saw her. And he starts like doing this like Cyrano march as the snow starts to fall harder. He's like, we were separated by my father's cruel intentions and a deal made behind the scenes. I think she had a family member too that wanted to make sure it's like, no, 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 don't let those two flirt at this party. The beautiful, poetic Theodore Lane, that boy is meant to kill monsters. Position her with that person over there. And if it wasn't for stupid Bruce Holloway showing up, not stupid Bruce, but Bruce came out of nowhere too. And remember, Bruce was a wanderer. Um,
Yeah,
I think she's attracted to these weird, like
she's just like
loners that wander
attracted
the
to weird
waste.
because she's so refined, right? And she is so like in court. I think she's interested in people who travel.
Yeah, and so it's Fedor's like, I must away and I must return to our home in the north, to our keep, and I must face my father. And
You can face your father for both of us.
as I arise, I will accept, as it is tradition in House Lane, responsibility for Jordan Vespucci, and I will see that that blackguard is hunted and captured, if you will it. Now, I will deliver him to wherever you choose, but I will hunt and capture the dragon, and deliver him to a spot of your choosing.
Uh, I guess just send him to Talus, but do something. Maybe Auntie Lucretia can settle this matter with her family.
It shall be done. And with that, he nods and mounts a horse and starts riding off into the night. And he kind of breaks away from what would be the dangerous path, and he sort of disappears on the horizon.
Just leaves his scouts behind. Bye.
Those scouts need to stay there.
Yeah, they're too drunk.
Well, they're
Uh,
waiting, yeah, and they're also waiting for the next warden to come. They've got 3 more years in the wild with the next night. Scouts spend a long time in the wilds.
yeah. I think she spends the rest of the night just kind of like talking with the scouts, drinking with them. Um, and then in the morning heads to Talus. And I think that's the answer to
Yeah.
the
Okay.
question.
Yeah. There you go. Ha.
She's not going for Jordan though. She's
No.
she's going for Theodore.
I know that's more fun, right? It's like deliver
Yeah.
the stack of love letters that I've written, and whenever I had anything I could write with, as I was off there wandering the unknown, fighting monsters, while you vied for the throne.
You just wanna put just a stake in my heart.
What?
You just made me. Now I'm in a now Blanche is in a love triangle, and
I know,
now
isn't it
there's
great?
feelings.
With dying Bruce Holloway.
He's
And
not dying. He's fine now.
he's recovering. He's on the mend. I
All right.
wonder if Blanche sent for you because of your connection to Theodore in a faint hope. Or it's because Theodore spoke so highly of you in years past. I don't know. But I think there's more there now. There's a deeper connection. So yeah, so we've added Blanche's locket and Theodore's letters to this, and now we can give each other tags. I'm gonna give Theodore Dragon Catcher.
Okay. I just love Theodore a lot, by the way. He's real good.
Yeah, I hope he captures Jordan too, and it's gonna be like some dumb. You don't know who you're dealing with. He's gonna like grow his dragon wings and do some anime thing, and he's just gonna be like, ugh! Like the oldest trick in the book. That's what it's gonna be, and it's gonna be one of those things where like Theodore's told Tora how to do it. Oh, to catch a dragon cursed guy, you set this up. You got it, and then just like, that was easy. Put him in his place. Yeah, Theodore stats, he has, I didn't raise anything in Valor, anything in Dashing. He's just all Cerebration, so he can, like, wax poetically.
Yeah.
But he's, like, a hardened knight that's lived out there. There's a good chance that his father was hoping he just wouldn't make it, right? It's just kind of like this lovesick troublemaker, send him off to die. Because he's already proven what kind of man he is, Edvard. And, but Theodore lived, he served his time, and now he's back.
Yeah. Okay, and Tora. I think I will give her. I think I'm just going to give her points. Yeah. All right. All right, so it's my turn. My question is, where is no. You want it you actually, I mean, how do you
we
feel?
know where Jordan is.
Do we?
Yeah, he ended up at the homestead of the doctor, the physician that had been poisoning Bruce Holloway because his family was held captive and they were going to assassinate him.
And Jordan saved them.
Yeah. So that's where he's at. We can figure out if he stays there or if he goes somewhere else.
No, I think probably the more interesting question is like how, I don't know, like I'm interested in how Bruce's recovery goes and what Bruce thinks of
he's
all
kind
of
of
this.
an NPC, but we can figure it out. So
Well, just because he kind of like woke up and then just like fell back asleep.
Yeah, he's so
I kind of want to know what he and Blanche are going to do with this new information that they have.
Well, here's what I think. We're free to play those scenes. So the current storyline is the struggle of the North.
Right, it's the struggle of the North. Okay,
they're there. So
they're in the South. So we should.
Yeah. So.
No, you're totally right.
And we can totally end the struggle of the North. We could even say that last scene ended the struggle of the North, and now winter is ending, and it's easier to travel if you'd like to, and then we could just establish a new one.
Nah. Well, I feel like we don't have a lot of. Oh, no,
Because we're gonna tick the war clock, and then once the struggle of the North ends, we'll lower the Inquisition.
yeah. I mean, let's follow. Let's my yeah, I think my question is how does House Lane receive their lost son?
That's what I think. And I almost think when he goes there, there's going to be a bunch of creepy new religion people that have, like. I want to say Gerald was sent to retake the Shadow Grove to get him out of the way because he would have resisted, like, oh, there's all these new faith people that maybe Edvard is into.
Oh, you think he's maybe following the new faith?
I think he is pretending to leverage their growing influence. And
Yeah.
he's
Because I
going
feel
to.
I feel like it would be really hard for House Lane to anybody in House Lane to like start worshiping the children.
No, they never could. What he wants to do is get a bunch of these zealots and then, like, take over Holloway's holdings. Like,
Hmm.
let's just go. Let's seize their keep that touches the sky, and then House
Hmm.
Lane will rule both the mountain and the north.
Okay. Okay. Um, and I know I just gave myself all of those points, but I'm actually, because I had this idea, gonna put my 3 points into um, Jordan's gift to Orla, which was like a
Yeah.
um, and so it has
Oh,
three
the
passion
giant. Was it a
points.
giant painting or a giant mirror? It was like an
No,
ornate mirror.
it was oh
Well, there
no,
was
not the gift to Orla. There was
the stolen tiara thing.
the earma, yeah, the tiara. So we didn't create that, so I will create that
I
then, I
like that.
guess.
And I almost
Um,
feel like we're gonna create these, like, strange relics that, like, are going to be
yeah,
combined into something.
I'm just gonna call it the tiara of the children. I really don't like text on Roll20. Um, what do you think? Like, what is our of Crown Passion Glory? What is like our magic? Uh,
I think we should just invent a new stat right now that's magic, and for the first time in this setting, an object of real magic power.
okay,
It would be
cool.
glory probably, but it's like I think I think it is magic.
Okay,
So it's I kind of like that because it's like, wow, this isn't like a famous sword. This isn't a story about a dragon wing.
hmm,
This is an object that does magic.
yeah. How did Jordan get it, and why did he give it away? I mean, he didn't think it was magic. That's the thing. I don't think
Oh,
people have realized that it's magic. Um,
I think Jordan's like half dragon and doesn't even believe it himself.
yeah.
Nope.
Well, because
Magic
it's
doesn't
different magic,
exist.
right? It's weird calamity magic. Um, yeah. So I think my question is how is Theodore Lane received back at home, and what are the
Oh
stakes? Oh no.
no, we have to play this scene. I'm worried it's gonna be sad. I'm worried they're gonna tell Theodore that, oh good, you're back, and you will lead the siege of Mount Holloway. Go, take their lands. And it's like, what? No, go, or you're no son of mine. And then he's either has to leave and get riven from his house, or
I don't think we're gonna go that far, like that
I
fast. He
don't know.
just
I shout in my head. I don't like Edvard at all. He's a horrible man.
he is a real bad dude. Um, but I mean, I think yeah. So I guess that's the stakes. The stakes are if he I mean, if he's kind of sent out again or not.
Okay, that's
Not
we'll see how they
necessarily
receive
to
him.
like take
Just
Holloway, but like,
ooh, this is kind of a fun one. So, what I encourage us to do in this scene is almost every interaction with Theodore. Let's try to introduce an NPC and kind of get their mood around him. Just kind of like,
yeah.
oh, it's the Master of Hounds,
Yeah.
Tabitha. It's the this person. It's this person. Oh, it's Edvard. And then what we'll do is a good way to handle this scene is to almost do it like a montage-ish thing, just
Okay.
different people, quick shots.
Yeah.
So, okay, yeah, we can play
I
this
think the
scene.
first person he meets is probably Maggie,
Okay.
our friend Maggie.
Ooh, that's right. Is Maggie the,
She's the like the educator, the teacher.
yes. Maggie, 'tis I. Uh, your, middle-ranked pupil. Right in the
Uh,
middle of the class.
Theodore, it is good to see you.
I have brought something for you. And he, like, reaches into his bag, and he has, like, a carefully wrapped bag within a bag within a bag. And it's wrapped in, like, strange paper. Behold, and he pulls it out, and there's a small, like, little pot with a patch of dirt and a really rare herb on it. He's like, it is the frost flower of the north. I ventured and I found the secret grove where the frost flower
Sorry,
grows. It's fine. Cat, you're loud.
cats.
Meow. Um, yeah, and it's one of those things. At first glance, frost flower grows everywhere in the north, but it doesn't grow this color. This is a white frost flower. Normally, it just grows blue, and it grows even in the wintertime. Um, but he has this very carefully preserved plant that he's actually been watering and taking care of every day.
Uh, I think Maggie, um, the like the children of the like Maggie and Tora probably got like more private education um, than everybody else, and so she's probably very close to him and kind of like ruffles his hair and kisses him on the cheek and
Oh,
thanks him for it and says, "It's good to have you back."
what what news here in the north? I hope things are better than they have been in years past. The calamity has been on the move.
Yes, it's been a hard winter.
I have, uh, I have some collections of things that I'd very much like to get your opinion on, but I won't overburden you with them now. Can we make an appointment at your next available office hours time to discuss some of my findings?
You know, when classes are over, come see me then.
Oh, thank you so much, Maggie. Now, and I'm actually going to use some more points. These are what I'm going to call. And I'm going to spend 1 crown. This is going to be called Secrets of the Calamity. It's actually a collection of writings and a script that he cannot transfer. Uh, the secret letters, the Calamity. He has not learned enough to translate them, and he's never seen anything like it. However, he was smart enough to know that Maggie probably has or would know since she's one of the greatest educators. So he has plans to deliver those to Maggie. And it may be if he does get sent off, he will see that those are delivered to her before he goes.
Hmm. Okay. Um, who else would you who would he meet next? Like I'm sure he meets Maggie like at the gates or something. She probably was walking the grounds.
Yeah,
Where would he go next?
I think he'd be greeted by Alvin Lane, who's been sneaking around.
Ugh, you're gonna make me
Yeah,
beat shitty Alvin. Okay.
horrible, horrible Alvin Lane.
What are you doing here?
I'm coming back to present my return and my report to my father. What are you doing here? Alright, weren't you sent to Talus to train under the dragon?
Dragon's a traitor to our family now, so
You've gained so much weight, Alvin. You must be eating quite well. I'm sorry, it's just one of those boy things to do.
Yeah.
Just cut right to the throat. It's like, look, I want to say when the Theodore left, he was a little pudgy guy, and I want to say that he never quite like lost the baby fat until he went
Yeah.
out and they sent him. So it's just one of those things, yeah. So let's hold on. I want to X that because I don't want to pick on him. I just thought it's like, gosh darn it, Alvin. All right, so we're gonna rewind that, and
Okay.
he's. I'm not gonna cut him so bad, but screw Alvin. He's a jerk.
No, he's awful.
So they're gonna be like, Alvin, they must have you working in the stables. I can tell. You're ripe.
It's because I've been working hard, unlike you.
Or hardly working. Look at your hands. They're soft. I just turn his hands over and kind of look, and they're kind of paperish. You know, it's one of those things. It's kind of like my hands. I got these little hands that are like soft and delicate. They've never done manual labor. When I do, like they rip and they bleed. And no, see, there's no calluses.
We wear gauntlets in the Dragon Guard.
Yeah, I heard to hide the scales and the claws, and they kind of lean in. Hey, so I heard Jordan's running around in his nightgown somewhere around here.
Jordan Vespucci is a traitor to the family, and Steward Lord Edvard said that I am no longer to be his squire, so I don't care what he does anymore. Besides, he made me give up my weapon to Tora.
That was Tora's weapon. She
She
has it.
lost it.
You know, Tora and I had words recently. I just kind of want to
What?
look at him. This is one of those things where it's kind of like a bluff. It's like I want him to think if he's done anything in his conduct that could be viewed as like disrespectful to her, he might feel a little bit of guilt. Because Alvin is a squire to a famous knight, but he's still a squire, and we've established him
Yeah.
as a loser. Theodore is an accomplished warden, even though he is kind of a soft boy. You know,
Yeah.
whatever he's projecting onto Alvin is actually more probably about himself. He's probably sensitive about the way he smells, having been traveling. He's probably sensitive about his lack of, you know. I mean, he was a bookworm when he was there.
Yeah.
He liked the beautiful things, and he was in
Um,
love. He-
What? You've been? Tora didn't die again.
no, Tora did not die. She is quite well. She's on her way to Talus. She's caught the dragon.
Oh, and she isn't bringing him back. She's a traitor to the family too.
No, not at all. The crown called for the dragon.
Well, I
And
don't
if you
care.
call Tora Lane a traitor again, I will cut your head from its shoulders. I just kind of put my hand on my blade. It's one of those things, right? It's like, I warned you, Alvin. You speak ill of a bonded knight again, I will slay you. I don't know why I'm so mean to Alvin. This is my chance. I played him up as a jerk and picked on you. This is kind of like
Yeah.
Theodore's chance to put Alvin in his place. So I apologize for that. I'm so mean
No,
to him.
no, it's great. I love it. Please be mean to Alvin. Alvin is the worst.
Alvin is the worst.
um. Uh, uh, you wouldn't do that. I have to go right now. And he just kind of like runs off.
You still run funny as he runs away.
I think Alvin is into like sufficiently intimidated.
Oh, jeez. Screw Alvin.
He's the worst.
All right. For our final, now I got my magic wand. We'll do one more and then we'll see Edvard.
Okay.
So after that, I would approach the doors to the keep. And who are at the doors of the keep? We can establish a new character. Ooh, maybe we put Theodore in a love triangle. Maybe there was someone that's been hoping he would come back that he never really paid enough attention to.
No. Oh, that's kind of fun.
That is.
Um.
Little hocus pocus.
Yeah, I was gonna say you have a magic wand.
Do.
Yeah, let's say there's a because Holloway. Oh my gosh, where'd it go? It's gone. Because there's still probably some Holloway refugees on House Lane lands. So yeah, I think there is.
A Holloway girl would break my heart. No, we haven't done a single.
I have to do it.
Oh gosh.
And
then and if the cult got to her, or if she's on the fence, or she's the only one that hasn't converted.
Her name is.
I've been using Irish and Scottish names.
Yeah, I was gonna. Yeah. Let me just make sure I'm pronouncing it right. Let's just go with Mary. That's fine. Mary Holloway.
Mary Holloway.
Yeah, she's been. She was probably one of the only. There's it was just one kind of noble family in that particular section. The Guildmaster's daughter, I think. Mary Holloway, and she was, I think she was visiting that particular mine, doing business for her mother, the Guildmaster, and when and then when the mountain fell, she was injured, like she was helping the refugees, and then got snowed out. So she's staying at the keep of House Lane for now.
All right, and I'm going to cash in Dragon Catcher and burn all 3 points into Passion into Mary Holloway.
Ooh.
That kind of ensures that I don't just be like, nah, ditch her. Ooh, so that's fun because it creates, so the love letters are 3 passion. Mary Holloway's actually 3 passion too. So they compete against each other.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, who knows, the being forced away, because Theodore was young, right? So being forced away uh, from Blanche could have like made the love seem more desperate to him, like in his head, this like forbidden love. He could
Yeah.
have got those romantic ideas.
The day he
Uh,
took his oaths was he was immediately shipped off. It was just kind of like, you're a knight now. Get out of here. Get out of this house and march into the unknown alone.
mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, so Mary Holloway is there kind of at the door.
It's gonna be one of those things. Bruce Holloway is going to be reading those letters, like he's gonna find them and be like, "I'll ride to the north and slay him." No, although he's way too, slick for that.
Yeah.
Bruce better not do anything stupid to this soft boy.
I'm being he's your character, so
Oh
that's every I mean, who knows? What's his relationship to Mary?
no, they're at least cousins at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Maybe
know if
they're
they're
siblings
sisters.
if Mary's the guildmaster's daughter.
Yeah, fair.
Um, because yeah, I imagine guildmaster is like a pretty important role in House
Hugely
Holloway
important.
because that was their whole thing.
She
Um,
probably has like several honorary titles that like she's not very like bragging about. It's like, oh,
yeah.
Mary's a knight too, and she's also professor of that university, but it got shut down. Yeah, but still, the building's still there. Yeah, I did
Yeah,
that
so
for 2 years. I don't know. So Mary
so
Holloway's who I'm
so
gonna meet next. Oh, geez, I'm not ready to see her. I gotta brush myself off. Take a bath.
uh Theo, hi.
Mary Holloway. Is it Lady Mary? Or Sir Mary? Or Her Grace Mary?
It's just
The
Mary for
Honorable Mary?
you, Theo. Unless you would like me to call you Sir Theodore now.
Well, you don't have to, but I prefer to refer to you as all of your proper star titles. The scar the star that touches the sky, or the star that fell from the sky. I want to say that's like a family title that they like give to like the first daughter of House Holloway. Like
Mm.
she's referred to in her family as the star that fell from the sky. Like it's this
Oh yeah.
legend of House Holloway, and she's referred to as that. What brings you to our humble
Oh,
keep?
I was caught in the crossfire when the mountain fell, so I'm here for the rest of the winter.
Oh, well, um, I'm on my way to see my father. Has he treated you well? Surely you've been given a place of honor and respect for a lady as admirable and renowned as you.
Yes, yeah. He's been perfectly hospitable. Did you see Tora? I'm worried about her. She didn't come back with the rest of the the
She's traveling
soldiers.
south. She's on Mercier land. She's hunting a dragon, but I also believe she's going to honor a request to visit the head of the council, Blanche Mercier.
Oh, um, okay. I was just worried because it we lost a lot of men in that fight, it seems. And the ones who came back looked pretty worse for wear, so I was worried. We thought her dead, and then she was alive, and I would hate for her to be dead again. I wouldn't want to see her father go through it.
Tora Lane is the most accomplished knight to rise from this house. Um, she once unseated Gerald at the Great Tournament of the North, and that's a thing now. I'm about to spend my glory points to be like the Great Tournament of the North, yeah, and it's just well, Tora won that tournament. Um, I squired for her that day, as I kind of think back, yeah, and I think Theodore actually squired for her. Like no one would agree to squire for Tora. They're like, no, no, she's not allowed to play this game. No. But Theodore like went out and like Geoffrey Chaucered it. And, just kind of like really hyped it up and over the top, and then she unseated the great Gerald Lane, who's one of the most famous knights of this house, who once fought for the throne. So there you go. But she is alive and well, and she's traveling with friends of mine, the Scouts of the North. They're making sure that she gets to where she needs to go.
Good, good. Um, oh, it's been a long time, hasn't it? You look well.
Theodore's thinking of the one letter that he wrote Mary. Like, there were all these Blanche letters, right? They came easy. But one night there was a Mary letter. And he's just kind of thinking about it. Does he give it
Where
to
is
her?
it? Oh, he has.
It's on his person.
He kept it separately.
It's beneath his heart that he's always just kind of had this Mary letter. And it's just kind of...
You look well.
I'd love to catch up with you. I must go see my father. You look incredible. Can we visit tomorrow?
Yes, of course.
He kisses her hand, if he may, and then he proceeds to enter the keep. Now, when his father kicks him out tonight and they don't get to meet tomorrow, and he didn't get to give her the letter, my heart will break.
Oh my god.
Yeah. The many romances of Theodore Lane.
Yeah. I mean, he's beautiful and poetic, so...
Yeah, and it's one of those things, I think he had his idealistic romance, which was kind of one of those things, like maybe like minds met once, he met Blanche Mercier and they hung out at a party together and
it's like a courtly love kind of thing.
Yeah, he probably had this like non-committal makeout session though. Like there was a secret, like they both had been drinking and never talked about it. It's like, yeah, we're not talking about that. But Blanche might even have, she doesn't have any letters. She probably burned any remnants of any letters she ever wrote to Theodore.
I don't think Blanche, I don't think she...
It was I
imagine Blanche is the daughter of, or is the granddaughter of Esmeralda II.
Ooh.
And so I think she kind of always knew that, I think she never really busied herself with love because she always imagined her marriage was going to be political when she became because she was a princess. And that way, when her father died in that The King is Dead game, it was who was supposed to be the heir to the throne.
I promise you that some of the interest in Bruce retcon is because she had this friendship / crush on Theodore Lane, who she met that one time.
Oh no, I 100%. Yeah. She's 100% into wandering dudes. I'm not saying that but I don't.
No, I get.
I don't think it's two side. I don't think it's one sided, but I think she
and Theodore is probably why do we need to get married? You don't need to marry in House Mercier. Sir Brandon never married his lover, and they lived together for, and he would quote the great legends and tell the story from our For the Queen game, and he'd be damn the world, nothing will bring us apart. But they were separated before they even ever got together. So now when Edvard freaking sends me out tonight, so now we get to play this scene, and we're going to decide. So I think Theodore's probably established he's very hot to trot. The professor's glad he's back. And we've also established that Edvard is kind of in league with the rising religion. All right.
Yeah. Hello, thank you for the raid.
Hey, everybody. We got a raid with Kit Battlefield and made of cartoons and the other Jess.
The wonderful Jess.
Yeah. And I just want everyone to know, other Jess, is an amazing Jess. She's not
She's
really other Jess. She's like
no.
Jess Prime.
Canadian. I call them Canadian and American Jess. Um,
She's beautiful too. I have to throw that
although I
out there.
also
Jess, you are
understand
beautiful.
being the other Lauren, because that's what I am on Grimjack, on Tales from the Grim. I'm the other Lauren.
That's caused
So
problems before. The nine. Yeah, it's like Lauren or other Lauren.
um anyway, uh the what am I trying to say?
Okay, so it's Edvard.
Edvard, yeah. Uh goes, Theodore.
Father. Hey, take a knee. I have returned at the end of my service and deliver unto you the Warden's sword. I'm gonna fiction
Do
weave
it.
that into existence. The Warden's sword.
Make a
Uh,
sword.
yeah, so I'm gonna spend all my glory points.
All right. I'm
And this is
gonna give you my last crown point.
okay. Cool. So,
Um,
for all the people jumping on the raid, so this is a storytelling game where we can spend some points to add value and importance to thing. So the Warden's sword has some political power, and it is the weapon of a hero. And this is a weapon that my character, Theodore Lane, the laconic, beautiful, poetic knight of House Lane, has been carrying for the 3 years that he served in the North monster hunting, and he has returned to his family for the first time in a long time. So, yeah, Janaya, the Lucretia's probably going to end up sitting on the throne again before this is over. She's gone back
no.
to Talis.
Oh my God, she's always dead to you now.
He's not dead. It's just he might end up riding off to battle or something like that. Who knows?
Anyway, yeah, Lucretia is back in play. It's very
Yeah,
exciting.
and her husband has been sent to secure the Holy Land that we've.
Yeah, Lucretia and Gerald are a pretty big deal right now,
To
which
secure the
is
Holy
funny
Land,
because they did
Jordan set
not
on fire.
fucking. I forgot about that. Fucking asshole. Excuse me. I shouldn't.
Ha ha
I
ha!
guess it's my own channel. I can swear on my own channel, but
It's your call. So, alas.
anyway. Um. So yeah, she or he goes. He looks at the sword, um, and and how was your watch?
It was thorough, complete, in everything that I imagined it would be. I asked thee to assign me to my next task, Father, that I might make you proud.
When the winter's over, I want you to escort Mary Holloway back home.
It shall be
These
done.
lands are dangerous. You must keep her safe.
When may I return to this house, to this keep? If you say never, I'm gonna cry, but not really. It's like,
Did you find Tora? Is she dead again?
Tora's alive. She's been invited to meet with Blanche Mercier, and she is in pursuit of the dragon.
Blanche Mercier.
She is head of the
Well,
council, or was until
yes.
Lucretia returned.
Well, we must answer Mercier's call. I guess that must be what she wanted to speak to me about. She won't be able to find the dragon if she's doing whatever Lady Mercier wants, so come back with Jordan Vespucci, or do not come back at all.
He nods and he kneels. I think at this time it's there's kind of an old professor. Um, he is so old. He probably taught 10 years before Maggie ever came, but he's still alive. He's still kicking. He's gathering flies, and he kind of his crackly voice calls from the crowd. He goes, "Our Lord Edvard." Sorry, that's his voice. And he's just like, "It is customary to hold a feast for the returned warden. Shall we make preparations? It is entirely up to the lord of the house." Someone's just like, "Can someone get him a cough drop?" Already got one.
Odds yes, evens no.
Ooh. Evens, no.
Oh, I rolled one D0 instead of
Oh!
1 10.
That's
So
still the fates.
no. He goes, we cannot
yes.
we cannot spare much, but bring the nice wine out tonight. We will drink it in honor of my son.
Nod. And I believe they do have a modest party. Who does Edvard sit around? Theodore. Is Mary placed near him or away from him?
I think Mary is placed near him.
Okay, good.
So Alvin is serving.
Nerd. Sorry.
Yeah. Because that's what's, it was totally like a squire thing to serve the knights. So
Alvin gets assigned to be squire to Theodore.
never. Edvard is, Edvard is not the greatest man, but I don't think he would wish that on anyone. I think there's a reason he sent him to the Vespucci's.
Excellent. Oh, I think with that, the feast is well, I'm gonna roll a 10-sided die. Odds, Mary and Theodore have an unplayed scene after the dinner where they converse. Evens, they won't. They will part. They'll wait till the morning. But I think that ends it. So we know what he's going to do. He's going to have him escort Mary Holloway back to her home. And if you don't mind, now that we've ended the Struggle of the North, I'd like us to kind of plan out.
Have we ended the Struggle of the North? I think we have one more.
We do, but I was almost going to count it as double. Do you want to play another scene, or
it's your scene. So if you have any more questions you want to wrap up with the North, perhaps maybe we can go to the Shadow Grove, right? Because we're going to set the Inquisition clock back, so we should.
Okay. My question is, what trial does Gerald face in the Shadow Grove. So I imagine something bad is happening there. Gerald was sent there to get Gerald out of the picture for a bit. Gerald may not survive. So it's one of those things
You
where
can't
it's
kill
like,
Gerald.
why not?
No, I don't want to
We
kill
don't have to
Gerald.
kill Gerald, but it's one of those
But I
things.
would like to spend some points, so we don't have to play out the scene. But with I'm going to spend some points to create a priestess.
What points are you spending for which
My
one?
last glory points. I have no more. Although we have to give Theodore some more. Or actually, no. Do I get a tag for playing? Tora doesn't get it, but I get.
No, yeah, we just throw them on the thing. So I think what we do is
all right. So I'm gonna create a calamity priestess. Because we need a big bad evil guy.
Bound, but I'm gonna cash it in immediately and just give him some more passion and glory.
Yeah, he has some passion now.
I'm gonna spice this up. I'm actually gonna spend them immediately, and I'm gonna add. I'm gonna add one to Mary Holloway, one to the letters, keep them rising, keep them intense. The Trestle family lands. That's where Jordan was. Trestle was the old
yeah.
and I'm actually gonna add a crown point to the Warden's sword. Now, here's a question that needs to be answered. Is Alvin sent out to be the Warden? Are they going to knight Alvin and send him out with the sword?
I don't think so.
Who are they sending, though? Because they have to send someone now that the Warden has returned.
Who are they sending?
That would happen at the end of the feast.
I don't think.
We can just name them.
Yeah, I think it's some other lane. I think Alvin maybe thinks it's going to be him, and then it's not because Alvin hasn't proven himself, right?
It's got to be, yeah. It's got to be like Tora, Nora, and Dora. No, it's got to be.
We were using like Nordic names. What the heck? What?
It's Kika Lane. Kika's a Nordic name. I'll come up with one. It's gonna be Elwina Lane for now. We'll rename it.
No, Elwin is fine.
The new Warden. So yeah, she's the new Warden, and she goes off at the end of the ceremony, and she'll meet up with the scouts. So we might meet her again one day. We might not, but we know that she's out there, and there may be a time when we call for help and the Warden comes.
So I made the Calamity Priestess. She has 1 glory point and 2 magic points, and she is wearing the tiara of the children.
Ooh.
And she is. I think Gerald like fights her. They have kind of like a end of anime season 1 big battle where they both like retreat, and Gerald returns and kind of dramatically at the end of the feast, like after they've had Elwina, and he says, he tells the story of this like, this calamity priestess who wields magic that like he's never seen before, and who the children listen to.
I like it.
Oh no, we're gonna call her the Calamity Mother.
Ooh.
'Cause she controls the children.
You could give her the name Dona Calamity. Uh, I lived in Brazil. A Dona was like a woman you looked up to with respect, kind of like mother. Dona Calamity.
Not calamity. I don't know. Feels. We'll rethink it. I'm think like Calamity Mother sounds really good to me, but I'm also in a Zelda mood right now, so.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, Calamity Mother works.
we'll think of some stuff. Um, so yeah, that's the struggle of the North.
Would you
Um,
like to take this time, even on stream? I'm a little under the weather, but to maybe plan out some of the upcoming episodes, even if we want to switch systems or anything like that.
yeah, yeah. I was gonna say like that. That's probably something we should do. It's a good time to end here. That way, we don't have to come up with a new thing. So we have a lot of stuff we can do right now. We could do Companion's Tale for Theodore. That might be interesting.
Companion's Tale is kind of a weird game. It's not
Yeah.
really a game that gels well with
Okay,
it.
that's fair.
Yeah, it like having played it, it's kind of a cool game, but it's kind of
It's kind of its own thing.
yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Um,
Although Companion's Tale being the scouts telling a bunch of stories, here's what might be fun is it's Companion's Tale told from the viewpoint of the scouts who are hanging out with Tora, and they're just telling all these stories about the wilds, right?
mhm.
Um, and like the legends. That might be a fun one. So it's
Oh,
not the
you know what we
canon,
should
but
do
it's
instead of
the tall
Companion's
tales.
Tale?
What?
We should do Ancient Stones, which you can now get on itch.io/Little Cup of Joe.
It's a very peaceful
Um,
game.
I mean, I've heard tales of you going mad in Ancient Stones. Um,
I think Ethan and I both went mad.
yeah.
I loved playing
Uh,
Ancient Stones with Ethan. We got thanks at the front of the book because of our ridiculous
yeah,
game.
because of your
So it's
ridiculous. I
Ethan,
saw
can I
that.
play a dog? Just right off the
Um,
bat. It was like a secret recording that I sent to Jess too. Like we just recorded it. No one saw it like we did stream, and then I just sent her. She's like,
no.
he asked if he could play a dog right off the bat. Classic Ethan.
Yeah. I mean, I think Ethan's been wanting to play a dog in a game for a while, but Ancient Stones might be cool to kind of talk to because it might talk more about um, the North,
Ooh, playing as a
like playing as maybe as Elwyn.
Elwyn. Yeah,
Yeah.
Elwyn and this like she would be
and
given
and the
a
scouts.
scout or a squire. No, the boy was
Yeah.
given not a squire but a scout. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we could play let's do that because then we can learn a little bit more. I think now that I've created the Calamity Mother, we should learn a little bit more about the calamity itself, um, and the children of the calamity and what might have happened in this land to create such evil um,
Um, so
in the
something that
past.
before uh Theodore heads to escort Mary Holloway, he's delivered these like calamity letters, like their script and stories and
Mhm.
whatever to Maggie. Um, who knows what dark magic's in those? Like I think I assigned them like maybe passion or crown or something. It really should just be magic and like dark evil magic.
Mhm. Yeah, you gave them the calamity letters. You gave them crown points.
Let's just yeah, I'm gonna change that to uh, Secret Letters of the Calamity. That's gonna be magic, and it's not a lot of magic. It's not the most magic, but it's one of those things where like this magic has been given to Maggie as soon as she
Mhm.
unlocks it, and she's probably the only one smart enough to. So yeah.
Yeah, so the other thing we could do um, is so we could do ancient stones to find out about the world as it is now. And then perhaps we can go into a game of spoken magic in the past, um, and look at the calamity that way, or
From what I've seen, all the playthroughs of Spoken Magic are like really long.
they can be quite long. Yeah, it would have like it would be probably several parts.
Yeah, we might try that, and it might give us a few episodes to play
Yeah.
through it.
But I definitely think Ancient Stones is our good next step. Um, I don't know. What do you want to play on this? What do you
So
want to play? We can.
I kind of want to see. What might be helpful is to play through Ancient Stones, then to make a relationship map of the different characters in the fiction.
Yeah, I'm working on that. It's a lot, but I'm working
Yeah,
on.
and it'll get more every time you play. But there might be a game that fits a pair of characters or a single characters really well. And what we might
Mhm.
do is look into that.
Oh no, a long story driven campaign by learning. Grant, whatever shall we do?
Yeah.
The worst. Um, yeah, yeah, it might be a good idea to put everything in a document, which I'm starting to do, like with tags and create kind of a timeline, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe what holes we can fill in.
Yeah.
Um, because we have a lot of new stuff that we can do now, but it might be good to, before we end this kind of chapter of this 6 episode run of what we've been doing, is to kind of figure out what holes need to be filled in before um, we start going into the stuff with King Holloway and the stuff
Yeah.
with um,
Whenever we play again, the assumption is going to
this.
be it's a new year, meaning
Yeah,
the winter has passed.
yeah.
And we'll get right into that. So let me actually handle this. Let me advance the clock.
Okay.
Also, so the clock that I've chosen to creep after each scene is the war clock.
Yeah, I noticed
So
that.
that's going to be some shenanigans. So the
Well, because
Inquisition's.
there's this whole Vespucci Lane thing kind of in the background, and with Holloway, with the king. I think next time we come to Unrestful Hearts or whatever game next, it's going to be a lot more focused on Talus. Um, so perhaps we need to do some more. We need to do some city building, maybe,
Mm-hmm.
um, to figure out kind of like what's up with Talus, because we've spent a lot of time in the land of Cascada itself, which is really cool. But we haven't really made our haven
Yeah.
yet. So yeah, all this to say, thank you very much for watching this episode of Unrestful Hearts. It seems like we will be back next week with Ancient Stones. Um, and I will be back on Wednesday finishing up my game of Alone Among the Stars. And other than that, I have a Patreon. I have, which is just Patreon/Starving Soubrette. And follow me on Twitter, jail_nice girl, to find out all the stuff that I'm doing. Grant.
You can find me on Twitter at WisePuppetGrant. I'm an independent content creator. I had one of my books drop yesterday. You can order the TPK Bestiary by 2C Gaming. It's a 278-page book, about 15 pages I wrote. It's a 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons supplement that we're really proud of. It's not just monsters; it's lore, tactics, plot hooks, etc. And it was really cool as a design project. I've really appreciated being brought in. I have a Twitter or a Patreon, Grant R. Ellis. I use it to pay players of my actual play. In July, we have a new show starting. It's a Blades in the Dark campaign. Not a single cent goes to me. My entire Patreon goes to pay my cast of my shows that I produce. Uh, and I'm not a cast member this time, but we have a great cast. Jordan Shively, Jim Davis, Mackenzie DeArmas, Sharang Biswas, Yut Saisu, and Shauna Nakasone. So that's where you can find me online.
It's going to be great. I'm real excited to find out. Shirong seems such like a happy-go-lucky guy from every time that I've mentioned, so it'll be like really interesting to watch him get all like
Serious
blades.
dark side of Shirong.
All right. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you next week.